Welcome to Rogers Environmental Education Center's Ice Harvest Program. My name is Fred von Mechow. I'm the retired program director here at Rogers Center. And today we're going to investigate how ice was harvested from ponds and lakes and even rivers and used for refrigeration before the advent of modern refrigeration techniques. We first know about ice harvesting from about 1,000 years ago. 1000 BC, and ice was harvested, but it's not really known what it was harvested for, but there are records of ice being harvested. And then, much later on in the 1700s, ice was harvested to keep food cold and drinks cold, and used and stored in ice houses, and the ice would last throughout the entire summer when properly insulated. So, believe it or not, modern refrigeration was only invented after 1900. In 1911, the first refrigerators were invented in the United States and sold, and they were gas-powered. However, gas-powered was not very efficient and not very widespread because not that many people had access to gas. And so in 1927, electric refrigerators were invented and sold in the United States. And remarkably, that's only 27 years before I was born, which seems really remarkable to me. Ice harvesting is the practice of cutting ice blocks from ponds and lakes and rivers and then hauling them off to a place where you need the ice to keep things cold, basically. Ice harvesting traditionally was done with various tools, the most important of which was saws, which cut through the ice. And I have a couple of examples of saws here. The ice saw has a T-shaped handle on it so that it can be used sawing up in an up and down motion to cut the blocks. And we'll be demonstrating that in a little while. In order to make a hole to begin with, in order to get the saw into the ice, you would need a spud of some sort. This is not exactly an ice spud. This is actually a tree planting spud, but it's still, it works perfectly well for this application. And you use it by chopping down through the ice to make a hole, and that way you can get the saw down in there to start cutting. Once you have cut all four sides of the ice block, you need to position it. And so this tool is called a pike pole, and it was used to push down on the ice in the water to maneuver it around so that it was in the correct position to be pulled out of the water. This is a tool which I made and I invented, but this is not a traditional ice harvesting tool, but it's one that I use for getting the ice out of the water. So by sliding this down in and scooping underneath the ice block, you can use it as a lever to pull the ice block out. And finally, once the ice blocks are small enough, you can pick them up with a pair of ice tongs like this and then move them from place to place. But you can't do that with big ice blocks because they're just too heavy. Harvested ice will last throughout the entire summer if it's in a building which is properly insulated. Most ice houses were built partly underground because the ground is an excellent insulator, and then the ice was brought in and stacked up anywhere from probably 8 to 15 feet high, and then packed around the outside with either sawdust or straw bales or any other really good insulating material. And then a roof was put over the top, and again, very well insulated to keep it from melting. And the ice, if it was stacked thick enough, would actually last right through the whole summer until the next winter when the ice was ready to be harvested again.
So was there an ideal thickness for harvesting?
Yes, good question. Yes, they would not harvest ice unless it was a foot thick because it just wouldn't last long enough. The thinner it is, obviously, the quicker it melts. And in order to make it last a lot longer, you'd wait till it was a foot thick and harvest the ice. So that might take, well, back then, 100 years ago or more, it was a lot earlier in the season than it is now. So it might be like early January. Cutting, so
there's ice sort of harvested today.
it is in some places. That, in fact, there's a in New Hampshire. There's a lake called Swan Lake, which happens to be.
Stand up, it was so slippery.
So wow, that's like crystal clear on the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom is good. It's really good ice. This stuff.